Out of nowhere, question of the week. Let's go into my guy, Chance.
Good timing.
Mr. Chana Hayes.
I just sat back down.
That's the perfect. That's what I can see. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
1,000%.
Sir, my question to you is, and we're gonna get into this conversation a little into the show tonight too. But I want you to put yourself as the Street Profits. You win the titles Friday night before Mania. WrestleMania weekend happens. You're obviously not on the card either night. Next Friday, main event again for the tag team titles. You retain. You have 2 back-to-back bangers of a match. Does that replace not being on the card during WrestleMania weekend?
No, it sucks because it sucks because the ladder match they put on with the 4 other boys, the 2 other teams was phenomenal, man. It was arguably one of the best tag team matches in a really long time. And I really do mean that. I feel like they had a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's unfortunate, especially for Motor City Machine Guns. They definitely came to WWE, debuted, and a team of that caliber is WrestleMania worthy. I'm not saying anything against the War Raiders or the New Day, but realistically, that could have been a TV match. When you have the Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, and this is arguably the most over Johnny Gargano has been in a while, you know what I mean? Because every time I feel like I see him, maybe I'm just a hater, but I don't really care much for Johnny Gargano. And this 3-way feud made me care. And they've been building this since the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this felt WrestleMania worthy because they've been building it for so long. I don't know why it wasn't on the card, but honestly, my biggest pet peeve with wrestling PLEs in the first WWE PLEs in the first place is that there's so much commercial time in between these matches for no reason. It's like you're already charging us out the wazoo to even go to these shows. Why are you milking more advert money for some nonsense? You know what I mean? Yeah. Give us what we want and give us more matches.
I love how you said you could have like WrestleMania worthy matches without being on WrestleMania, but like you deserve to have those moments. And I feel like the Street Profits and maybe the tag team division may have gotten robbed this year, but I also feel like since the tag team division isn't as strong and maybe it's had the last bad couple years we've seen in a while. So let's hope those 2 tag team matches that they've had so far set the standard for WWE and all of the tag team division.
I do hope so, but right now I'm kind of wondering where the division goes outside of those 2 other teams. They kind of resolved their issues in a sense. So it's all about that next team to see who steps up and realistically can carry the ball with them.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what the Street Profits are. Are they baby faces? Are they heels? Are they just them? You know what I mean? Them guys.
They're those 2 guys.
They're them.
They're them.
Allies.
Oh, man. Hey, but we got a lot to talk about tonight. Aleister Black is back in the WWE. Zelina Vega is a brand new champion. We're going to be talking maybe Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker needing a 3rd member. Who knows? And our main event question is probably going to get a little salty, so stay tuned. But let's go ahead and start our show.
Four sides of the ring, 4 sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the beats getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. 4 sides of the ring, 4 sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the beats getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. 4 sides of the ring.
What is going on? Ringside is your favorite faction is back. I am your host, the founder, Marcus Hernandez. I am alongside one half of Haters University alumni, Nitram, the one that makes you say, "Oh damn," his tag team partner, Chano Hayes, Chano Theory, Tommaso Chano, Chano the God. What else have we came up with?
I don't know. I'm still Channel Rhodes, Channel Rain.
Chano Rhodes, Chano Rain, yeah, Chano Reigns, Chano Punk,
Channel Taker. Channel Taker?
Chano Taker.
Channel Simpson because I'm a choke on Ram if the Knicks don't win this series.
Channel Hendry.
Chano Copeland.
I believe in Channel Hendry.
Hey, we got a special guest tonight, everybody. We didn't announce it. He tweeted that he was probably gonna. We'll see. Y'all saw his tweet, but we have the one and only Mr. Mike from Mouthing Off of Mike. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, my fellas? Good to be back. Of course, founder, you can't forget Channel's other nickname, the Dean of Hate You.
Dean of Hate You.
So
that is very
you
true.
got to remember the Dean is in attendance. You got to show some love.
Well, listen, if we're bringing up the Dean, we got to bring up Mike's name. I gave him a nickname. His name is Mikey Cutlets. I was trying to think of a kayfabe last name for Mike, and I was thinking of all Italian foods. You can ask him. I'm not gonna lie. First, I went Godfather. I went like Mikey Corleone.
Yeah, I was like two played out. Two played out. Move on. Next one.
It was like Mikey Meatballs. Mikey known as Sunday Sauce.
Mikey known as Sunday Sauce. That's the one.
That one just rolls off the tongue.
It does, right?
Yes, Ludi says hi, Mike.
Hi, Ludi.
My mom loves Mike. I told her earlier. I was like, yeah, Mike's recording with us tonight. She's like, yeah, send me the link. I was like,
yes. I love her. She fills my heart with joy. So I love you.
That's hilarious, man. Dude, you've been on a roll. You've been back, right? Mouthing Off of Mike has been back.
We've been back, man.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, a week and a half, right?
Yeah,
Since
since Mania, Mania kind of, I feel like there was a time there where I was a little, in the trenches, obviously, work and responsibilities. And of course, just like, I don't know, man, I couldn't really get a good feel to put anything out. And WrestleMania was just like a nice little spark to kind of just throw out some nice content. The creative juices are flowing through me again. So, no more content block, writers get writer's block. I had a little content block. I couldn't really think of anything. So we're back. We're trying our best. It's great to be back here with all of you guys, man. It's like the four horsemen of the apocalypse, when the four of us are on the screen. You never know what could happen. You never know what kind of shenanigans we're going to get into. And you never know what Nitram's eating. That's mainly what I got to say.
Honestly, you have a good point, because I never know what Nitram's doing at any given moment. You know what I mean? But I give it up to you.
It's the wild card.
Oh, you
but I give it up to you. You hold all 3 recap episodes. For WWE, you do AEW, the PLEs, the pay-per-views. So it's a lot of content on top of that in order to create your own stuff on top of that. So we are Four Sides. We do give it a big old kudos, because it's not an easy job to do all that you do for the wrestling community. We see you.
I appreciate you,
Very
fellas,
true.
man.
Very true. It's hard work, because sometimes some Thursdays we're like, are we doing an episode? And
I'm not gonna hold you. I hate wrestling most weeks. I hate wrestling most weeks. I'm not gonna hold you. I was really burnt out to the road to WrestleMania, because it was so lackluster, right? I was so burnt. I had so much wrestling fatigue. I didn't want to watch anything, but I knew I had to watch it because I don't want to miss out on a key detail, a key spin, a key swerve that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get. So I was really burnt WrestleMania season. But now that WrestleMania season is over and all that kind of pressure for WrestleMania to succeed is gone, I'm enjoying wrestling again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a good
way more laid back. It's laid back.
Oh,
the vibe's laid back. Everybody was wound tight, man. I rode WrestleMania. Everybody was like, this sucks. But I thought I delivered for the most part. I really did. But I was there, so I have a little bit of a bias.
You were there. Honestly, I was looking at the SummerSlam tickets, and I'm thinking about buying, but I hate stadium shows.
I mean, MetLife's a
agree.
tough
You
one because
gotta
it's outdoor and you have like the columns and everything, so you have to like angle everything
Yes.
you gotta
out.
go.
So,
It's
I mean,
like a full moment circle for you, right? WrestleMania MetLife, John Cena, SummerSlam MetLife, John Cena.
To be honest, I don't like stadium shows, guys. You know what I like? I like commentary. I'm a big fan of commentary.
you got some
Because if I,
AirPods.
because if I don't have commentary, I'll tell you what I do. I become a social butterfly, and I talk to the guys in front of me. I talk to the guys behind me. I'm bullshitting with the guys 3 rows down. Like girlfriends
You
and
can't do
wives
that. You
hate
can't do that
me.
at WWE events. People are trying to
No,
watch the shit.
I do that at WWE events,
I-
and they tolerate me. It's bro, I make friends. I make friends everywhere, bro. It's terrible. Sober, margarita. I'm making friends at these wrestling events. And then as soon as I tell them, yeah, you wanna see more, just watch 4 sides of the ring. They're like, okay, loser. And they walk and they walk away. I'm like, so we had something special.
That's the truth. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I've dapped up so many people, shook so many hands, WrestleMania weekend, talking with people from all over the globe, man, and hitting them at the end. Well, check out my podcast, MOWM_podcast. So I love talking to wrestling fans, man. There ain't nothing wrong with it. It's the way to do it.
Nothing wrong with it.
I
It's
will
like as
tell
soon
you,
as
I
you
like
say, it's like as soon as you tell them like, oh, I have a podcast, they're just like,
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
like this.
Oh,
They're like,
brother, this guy stinks!
bro, it's insanity, man. It really is insanity because at WWE shows I'm more tame because it's a child friendly event, but at these AEW shows I am unhinged. A 1,000%. I become the most.
it's true. That's true.
My favorite wrestling moment of all time is when Big Justice hit that spear by QT Marshall, bro. Do you understand? I've been calling that spot the whole entire night before the cards even started. And then when it happened, I had everybody like, you called it. I was like, you fuck yeah. Bro, it was electric. That's my all-time favorite wrestling moment of all time. And I hate the fact that it got a pop from me. I really do. It was incredible though.
That's one of the best AEW moments, baby. Shout out to Big Justice. Bring the boom.
Rick A Bits in the chat as well. Says our show is sponsored. The show is sponsored. Someone plays some kind of energy drink, maybe
Some kind of drink, maybe a me like product of multiple superstar side products. We are sponsored by H2O.
right.
And we are high off life.
Great edge, baby.
Straight edge. Let's jump into our show, fellas. This week we crowned a new champion. Shocking. Very, very shocking. Because everybody was like, whoa, how come Meechin didn't get it? You could have put it on this person, you could have put it on this person. But you know who they decided to put over and give it to? And I feel like I've been trying to cheer her on, and I feel like we've been trying to figure out why she hasn't gotten any love, and now she has gotten some love. Miss Zelina Vega is our new women's U.S. champion. Are you excited for this run? What kind of things do you expect or want to see? Let's start with our guest, Mike.
I'm absolutely excited. Much like you, Marcus, I'm a big Zelina Vega guy. I felt that super underrated. There's been years, that she has been, I guess, as the wrestlers have been calling themselves, good soldiers. She's been one of the best soldiers. She's done her part. She's done whatever they've asked of her through 2 different regimes. And finally, she gets the recognition. She becomes the new United States Women's Champion. Shout out to Chelsea Green, because her run as U.S. champion I wouldn't say maybe not made, but helped make this moment for Zelina that much more bigger or important. Because without Chelsea making that title seem like something that everyone wanted, I don't think, that hits the same. And I think it just adds to that moment for her, but I'm super pumped for her. I will say, kind of going back to your out of nowhere question of the week, kind of with the profits and everything, a moment like this, to be honest with you, I feel like deserved to be on WrestleMania. If you knew going into the weekend, hey, look, Zelina's going to beat Chelsea for the title on SmackDown after, I don't know, maybe for a woman who's been with the company for almost 8 years now, maybe you give her that WrestleMania moment and you say, hey, great job at Backlash all those years ago in Puerto Rico. Thanks for the last couple of years that you've been grinding. We're going to give you your WrestleMania moment. That's maybe the shortcomings, but I guess everything can't fit WrestleMania. A TLC match couldn't even make Mania, so let alone this. But super pumped for Zelina, man. I hope we get some new faces challenging her. That's number one on my list.
You know, I didn't even think about her being on the Mania card and thinking about that moment. But now that you mentioned it, yeah, that'd have been an incredible moment for her and just her career in general. And like you said, everything she's done so far and being a manager, stepping into the ring and just doing the craft, doing it well. You know what I mean? She's clean. I don't think she's ever really injured anybody. I don't think she has gotten injured like too bad in her career either. She's not too gone. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Knock on wood. Zelina, yeah, obviously Mike's happy for you. Nit Ram, how are you feeling about the new Puerto Rican Queen U.S. champion?
Yeah, man, she's Boricua, man. That's all that matters to me. She is Puerto Rican, and as a Puerto Rican, I sit here and I bash every accomplishment we get in wrestling because we don't get a lot. And it just is what it is. I celebrate AJ Lee. I celebrate Damian Priest. I celebrate Zelina Vega. I celebrate Carlito. I celebrate Pedro Morales. And that might be where we cut off as far Epico and Primo, tag champions. Anyone we can get. Anyone we can get.
Puerto Rican?
Yes, she is.
Good for CM Punk marrying a fucking Puerto Rican woman. Good for him.
I celebrate anything we can get.
I'm not gonna hold you.
A lot of them, so I'm super stoked for this. Mitch is probably gonna be her first opponent. I know Mike said switch it up. It's probably not gonna happen. It's gonna be Mitch as the first opponent. I assume Piper Niven will get a shot.
Alba Fire
will get a shot. Chelsea Green will get a rematch. Stuff like that, but doesn't matter. They can't take it from me. History book says two things: Zelina Vega was first Queen of the Ring, and she was the second United States champion for women, and I take it.
You love to hear it. And like you said, how awesome is it that the first ever women's United States champion, inaugural U.S. women's champion, is a Canadian, and then the second champion is Puerto Rican. So perfect.
It's something.
And how you feeling about Zelina Vega and the U.S. champion and her reign?
I kind of hated the whole build to it. You know what I mean? It got kind of like first one was a count out, second one was a pan, and then the way she went the third one was kind of like she stole it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like she stole the third one. So it's kind of like in a sense like it was a moment for sure, but it wasn't like the moment. You know what I mean? Where you stand in the middle of the ring, you get your flowers, like, yeah, you did it. She kind of stole it and ran out. You know what I mean? Like she knew she stole it. So it's weird.
Like it wasn't supposed to happen?
Not that it was not supposed to happen. It's just kind of for somebody like Zelina who's been waiting for a moment like this based almost her whole entire career, I would have rather it feel grander. Whether on WrestleMania, but an actual clean finish where she gets to win and gets to have her moment in the ring. The only other thing I dislike about the Chelsea Green one is that she fought Mitchell 3 times. You know what I mean? I would have liked to see some variety in the defenses because she has four defenses, which is great, but 3 of them against Mitchell. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see her mix it up with a few other, at least like one other girl before she lost the title. Because this feud kind of felt half baked, and obviously since Zelina's Puerto Rican from Queens, I'm obligated to root for her. You know what I mean? Legally, I don't have a choice. But also, at the same time, I do have to admit I'm not the biggest Zelina fan in general. So I do want this. I do want her to take the belt and go off running with it. Both feet on the ground, running and thriving with this title. Because if it's lackluster, then it's like, okay, this is why they never gave it to you. You know what I mean? So I do. She does succeed with the belt.
Yeah. Besides Michin and Zelina, if Chelsea Green was still the United States champion, who else would be like? Who else is on that women's mid card roster spot at SmackDown?
I'm trying to think about that SmackDown women's division. It's kind of top heavy, isn't it?
Because you can't name Niven. You know what I mean? You can't name her security because they're obviously on her side, so they can't really wrestle her. Right, so they're obviously off the list too. So that's 4 women already off the list. Who else? You know what I mean? You had Charlotte going for Tiffany, so they're off. You had Nia Jax was nowhere to be found.
Weird, bro. She really went missing after Elimination Chamber to post Mania, right?
And I'm hearing what you and Mike are saying. Like, let's switch it up. But now that we're really talking about it, who can we really? It really sounds like Michin and Zelina were the only 2 women to. Candice LeRae, yeah, but she kind of disappeared.
There's a Nikki Cross.
Nah, SmackDown.
The Wyatt Six are going back to Raw. It looks like.
So
it's weird. Maybe
you want something.
Maybe Zelina was the right choice. You know, maybe Zelina was the right choice. She was literally the only option. Because what it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're just
maybe we get a last legend to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved, to be honest, I would have loved to see the mid-card title on an NXT girly coming up. You know what I mean?
They have their own.
Yeah. The only thing NXT and the main roster will share are the women's tag titles, and that's only if.
When I say NXT girly, I mean on the call up.
Oh,
okay.
Like have someone have their debut match on SmackDown and shock Chelsea for the U.S. title.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Rick said he hopes this leads to Chelsea Green being Miss Money in the Bank.
I'm gonna miss the Secret Hervis. The Secret Hervis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And he also says Candice LeRae as well. But other than that, you know,
I forgot all about Candice.
I mean, other than Candice, though, like Chelsea Green versus Michin 3 times, and Chelsea Green dropping the title to Zelina Vega.
Oh, there's B-Fab. I just put up the roster.
I would assume.
Okay, I like that.
There's a Jade Cargill
for the United States Championship. Kind of feels like a step down.
She was feuding with Naomi, so you can't do anything there.
The Party Girls, Kaden and Katana.
True.
They're a tag team.
Piper was with Chelsea, so excuse that. And that's it. Because everybody else was Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, the ones that we just pretty much discussed.
The SmackDown women's division was always lopsided to the Raw women's division in the sense of the members of the roster. It's top heavy, but it's also confusing at this point because last week, you know, not to kind of throw us on a tangent here, boys, but last week we saw Axiom get the call to SmackDown, but no women have gotten the call to SmackDown. So we added another tag team. So are they, you know, what are they kind of angling at here? Like, so I'm assuming the draft would yield something for the SmackDown women's division because you kind of have no choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I kind of talking about a little bit of a tangent to add on to your thing. I kind of feel like with the Meta-4 separating officially, I do feel like Lash is getting that call up to the main roster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you got to put her on SmackDown, like Marcus said.
I think if SmackDown wants to do, if SmackDown can do anything really good for 2 women, is adding Lash Legend so she can learn at a different level and elevate her game in ring, right? And then bringing on Dakota Kai and allowing us to see her full time, just killing it in mid. And I think those 2 women right there can help elevate that United States champion and then give that mix that you guys want.
I'll even add one more woman to that. We saw the news today that she might be returning soon. Kiana James got drafted to Raw last year, got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Throw her on SmackDown. Let's see what we can run out. That's a great U.S. champion because you can run you could run a Ted DiBiase vibe where she tries to buy the U.S. title because of her businesswoman acumen.
There's also Fallon Henley. You know what I mean? She also may get the call up.
She could.
I know
that's a good call.
And I know we're talking young, but honestly, Natalia's not doing anything.
That's also true.
She's in GCW doing stuff, and I mean,
man,
they could easily bring her in.
That match in GCW, man, that might have been one of the best Natty matches, to be honest, in a very long time. Like her fire and her passion, man, even sitting in the, wherever in the roof where I was sitting, you could feel her fire and passion when she got in that ring and she was throwing down, man. I hope Natty gets a shot here, man, because out of the legends in the game still going, man, Natty has been the one I feel like that gets the short end of the stick a lot of the times in WWE. Like everywhere, it's Charlotte Flair this, Charlotte Flair that, pedigree of this, but like Natty doesn't get on that same level, and she's part of the Hart dynasty, and we don't talk to her in that same regard when she appears. It's, oh yeah, the daughter of Jim the Anvil, Neidhart, but like they don't, you know what I'm saying? Like they give Charlotte this, but like she's still part of a royal wrestling family.
I think people just don't really like her technical style of wrestling, and Charlotte is more flashy.
I will agree with you because not a lot of WWE fans are fans of technical wrestling in general, and a lot of them aren't really fans of women's wrestling in general. So when you add both of them, you got a big old something that a lot of people don't like.
Double-edged sword there, just cutting up.
It's like,
oh man. Anyway, Zelina, look, all of us here at Four Sides of the Ring and mouthing off with Mike, we wish nothing but the best in this championship run, that you have an incredible time doing it, and it's nothing but fun, and you hold it for as long as you need to hold it for. And then we're excited to see what happens. We had a debut happen last week on SmackDown 2. My guy Aleister Black is back in the building, back on WWE, back with his guy Triple H. Ironically, he had the same debut as his AEW debut, and the AEW stands couldn't hold it. It was a quick post. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think it was just laziness, or do you think, was it biting? Was it the same kind of style debut? What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think that's definitely what they wanted to go for. Man cutting the promo. Luckily, it was the GOAT, The Miz, but he was wearing a white suit. You look at the AEW debut, it's Cody in a white suit, and it's a kick and a sit-down, iconic Aleister sit-down cross-legged. It's as simple as it gets. It's really all we needed. If the Miz thing is a quick feud, let it be a quick feud. There's nobody better than the Miz to do it with. So, I mean, it was fine with me because as an AEW fan, I thought it was cool. And it makes me sit there and be like, cool, we're watching both products. So I didn't mind it personally.
Nitram, you mispronounced Mark.
I am a super fan.
Shana, how you
Thank
feel
you.
about
Thank you for the clarification.
How do you feel about the Aleister Black debut? You thought they were biting off his debut at AEW?
I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't see his debut in AEW because I wasn't watching AEW at that time. Two, your boy was in the shower the whole entire time. I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see his return. And then I thought I was safe. Like during the Fraction match, I went to go take a shower real quick because it's Friday night, just come out of work and fatherhood shenanigans. I was like, all right, let me shower real quick. And then I come back and that Ram's like, oh my god, AEW's the best. Aleister Black came back and he destroyed the other all-time great, The Miz. I'm like, I guess I missed it.
Oh man, Mike, how are you feeling about this Aleister Black debut?
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, look at you got Cody, the whole foundation of Black kicking Cody and everything that started that whole feud with the two of them, and you ended up getting didn't dark hair Cody make a return for that one where he dyed his hair or let his hair go back to brown or whatever? It makes sense with The Miz, like Nitram said, The Miz has been the guy for what, 75% of the returning WWE wrestlers from AEW back to WWE. 75% of the time when they return, if it's a dude, they're taking on The Miz. So right guy, makes all the sense in the world. Miz can hold his own in the promo game. He can wrestle. He's fine. Aleister Black gets a cheap win. The Miz losing doesn't hurt The Miz whatsoever, right? Everyone, wins and losses, this and that. Miz losing to Black has no barring on Miz's legacy that he leaves behind. It's just another feud and another opportunity for him to make a guy like Aleister Black look like $1 million. I hope that if they do feud, I don't want it to be kind of like the Karrion Kross thing where Karrion like changes people and so on and so forth. But like, I want us to bring kind of the AEW element to Aleister Black's character in WWE, where like maybe not with the mist or whatever, but like have him somehow affect the person after the feud, like he's done to, you know, when Julia Hart got hit by the mist accidentally, she changed into this, you know, Julia Hart we have now, like
this like darker entity.
Exactly. Like I would not be opposed to that being something that they work out, and I would not be opposed to, you know, fantasy booking like Aleister Black having some sort of interaction with an Uncle Howdy down the line. Like I think this is a great thing for the SmackDown mid-card division and maybe upper title division.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
Can we get an Aleister Black, Karrion Kross tag team?
That'd be fire.
I have a question for you guys. For your AEW guys who's been watching since the inception, it seems like for the most part, these AEW guys are coming to WWE with a very similar gimmick. Do you think those gimmicks are just more WWE tailor-made? Or there's just a disconnect in how the gimmick is presented? Because Cody's relatively same guy, except he's a super clean babyface. Rusev seems like he's carrying over his gimmick. My favorite joke I saw about Rusev, that was like, I hope his shoulder problem is fixed. And I was like, what shoulder problem? There was like, for some reason, his shoulder just refused to stay to the mat for 3 seconds. You know, so it's like, and also like, what do you feel about that? Do you feel like their gimmicks are more WWE tailor-made in a sense? Especially somebody who's like Black, who's like supernatural and ish.
My running theory for the last couple of years, and this might be freaking, you know, off the wall here, but my running theory has been a lot of wrestlers who have wrestled in WWE that ended up going to AEW have, especially Cody, because Cody's gimmick in AEW was literally WWE. He was what we're seeing now is what we got in AEW, and it's the same thing. My running theory is that a lot of wrestlers decided, okay, well, WWE doesn't think I'm talent-wise, you know, worthwhile putting on TV. I'll go to the other competitor and I'll do what I've been pitching to them on their TV screen, and I'll show them, look, if you would have let me do this creative, it would have worked, because look at what we got. That's my whack job, off the wall running theory on a lot of this, because I have noticed that as well, Chano.
I appreciate it.
What did Mike say earlier? If it ain't
broke, don't fix it.
Broke, don't fix it.
Yo, what would you do if you found out that not Tony Khan, his father traded the Jacksonville Jaguars for WWE, and WWE and AEW's officially one company?
That'd be crazy. Nick Rand would call out of work for the rest of the week. He'd probably drive out to Jacksonville and like literally try to meet Tony Khan.
It'd be a real interesting premise. I'd be like, how did this work financially?
What do you mean? How they just trade, bro? They just swapped them. They handed each other the pink slips.
TKO said, yeah.
Triple H is the GM of the Jacksonville Jaguars then?
No. Basically, WWE and TKO split, and now TKO is the UFC and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and all the WWE just part of AEW now. Good, bro. Could you imagine? The cons are like, Travis Hunter does not bring me enough money, but you know what will? The WWE fan base.
The biggest UFC event at Jacksonville Stadium.
Looking like Mark says, WWE needs to bring back Chavo Guerrero as Kerwin White, then he can team with Aleister Black.
Black, white, Michael Jackson. That's hilarious.
Oh man, let's continue reading on, fellas. Friday night or Friday.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Friday. You're fine. Friday night opened the show with what seemed to be a nostalgia like creation. We had John Cena and Randy Orton cut promos that you could just tell they didn't skip a beat. Obviously, Randy's not skipping a beat because he's still doing it. It's still his full-time job. But Cena, he's the GOAT. So he's never going to skip a beat. But you had this nostalgia moment where they were just in there. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but it was just like they were in their zone. And both crowds were working in both their favors, cheering and booing at the same time. Randy did his thing. Cena did his thing. And I think this one promo was already better than anything that Cena and Cody already did.
Oh,
That's not fair.
it's not fair.
Why not?
That's really not fair because Cena didn't really give Cody anything. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Ate him
hey,
up.
And Randy and Cena have so much history, whereas Cody and Cena don't have that level of depth.
You know what I mean? They have a
just
repertoire
because-
together.
just because Randy was chilling with the big dogs and Cena in the same locker room while Cody was Stardust in catering, that's not Cena's.
No. Cena didn't give Cody really much anything. I respected Cody so much. Now that Cody's not WWE champion, I can appreciate him so much
knew
more.
it was gonna come. I knew it was gonna happen.
You
I
know
knew
it was.
I
'Cause
knew it.
You know why? Because I am a hater.
You are the dean. You're not a hater. You're the dean of hate you.
Okay, you exactly. I led the course, and we hate Cody Rhodes. But now the course is over for now. Temporarily pause. So it's like I gained so much more appreciation for Cody during this run because he didn't have a Paul Heyman to work with this WrestleMania season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't have henchmen. My man's just going about it to an open forum, selling the shit out this match. Cena comes in, like Cena wasn't giving Cody anything. He just let Cody get some things off his chest. He's like, "You're a kid. I don't have to worry about you." And then he just ate some crossroads. You know what I mean?
Called him a mark and said, "You're
Yeah,
a kid."
You know what I mean?
The chauffeur.
Bro, it's exactly my point. So it's just like Cena didn't give Cody anything, but I guess since it's Randy, you gotta respect the legend. You know what I mean? But also, I low key have I have something. I don't care how you guys feel about it. You know how I feel about old wrestlers. John Cena was asked at WrestleMania wrestling. I haven't seen Randy Orton wrestle a good match in about 3-4 years. That Backlash main event is about to be the biggest margarita match I've ever seen in my life.
It's gonna
Two
be
50-year-old men
shenanigans.
moving. I was thinking about it. I was like, wow. I was like, Cody really carried that Cena match.
This guy stinks!
Think about it. Cody was really carrying that Cena match at WrestleMania.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
Dave
And
Meltzer.
Travis
Mac
Scott's
is
gonna
still
carry
hurting.
this Randy one.
Oh dear
Imagine.
God!
Could you imagine if Travis
Please.
Scott comes out again? I would love
He's
that.
going to. He's
He's
going.
gonna come out
to.
every Cena match.
That's the running
All I-
gimmick. That's the running theme.
All I want to hear is Fiend. Fiend. The WrestleMania theme song every single time.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna be a terrible match.
But so obviously, Chana, I'm assuming Randy John Cena doesn't excite you for Backlash.
It doesn't. Let me rephrase. Cena isn't a weekly wrestler no more. He's not even a monthly wrestler no more. He's very out of ring shape. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look great out there. In a tag team match where you can hide him and play to his strengths, go for it. In a one-on-one match against somebody who's had neck surgery, back surgery, like Randy Orton, who's now 280 and stiff as hell, something has to give.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm excited for the nostalgia of it. Oh my God, this is the last time I'm ever gonna see these guys do it. And fucking as a grown ass man with my own son, I was watching them feud when I was a kid. You know what I mean? That's nostalgia about it. But
Yeah.
if somebody was to dig up Harley Race right now and told you want to watch Harley Race versus Ric Flair one more time, you're gonna be like, you're out of your mind.
God damn, bro.
And I really
There's
tried
so
to
many
mimic-
alive wrestlers he could name.
You could have said just about anything.
You could have said anybody. Mike, how you feel?
You know
how
what?
you
I'm
feel
wrong.
Yeah,
I'm an
Harley
asshole.
Race and
But
Ric
Harley Race was
Flair.
the first one I thought about beefing Ric Flair.
Mike, how you feel about Randy and Cena?
Listen, I feel like I'm back in 2009, baby. I feel like I don't have to pay taxes, pay bills. When Cena and Randy got on that ring last Friday, and I was listening to them go back and forth at it, I was like, I got transported to a better time. You know what I mean? It was all I could think about was wrestling action figures and what I was doing in school the next day, you know? So like
Young
seeing
Mikey
them,
Cutlets.
yeah, there you go. Back in my day type of ass sentence that was. Wow. So I'm cool with it. You gotta run the greatest hits on this tour. I mean, everything in reverse, right? Roles are reversed, shoes are on the other feet. Randy Orton is the good guy. John Cena is the bad guy. That's the first time ever done in WWE. You know, now we're going, let's get even crazier. You got evil John Cena versus good guy CM Punk on the horizon. You know, you probably got evil John Cena versus another, you know, heel that was a face or whatever, you know, was
The
a
Miz.
right. The Miz, you know, you could end up having, I mean, I'd be cool with seeing that. It'd be nice to get
I'd love it.
the Miz have one last match against Cena, you know, because he was a huge part of Cena's kind of like transitioning out of the upper, you know, card for that too early, you know, 2010, 2012 era.
And-
So I'd be fine with that.
And when it's all said and done, Chana, whether you like it or not, The Miz has a WrestleMania win over the boy. Bring it up.
And he was concussed. He don't even remember it.
Bring
You
it
gotta give him
up.
credit for that.
I'm not
The
gonna hold you. I remember
goat.
seeing I love seeing the clip, and he was like, I was concussed the whole time. He was so concerned. He's like, "Did we have a good match?" And I was like, "Yeah, you had a good match." And I was like, "You know what, Miz? Maybe you're not so goddamn bad."
He's the guy. If there's one wrestler that like you could like, okay, the Miz has done the movies and has the reality show, but there's not a lot of wrestlers that I truthfully feel that were like outsiders in the beginning that have like shown that they love this industry more than the Miz. The Miz will do anything for this. For WWE.
mean,
WWE says, Miz, get your ass at the Celebrity All-Star game tomorrow, and you're coaching the Celebrity All-Star game. Miz says, I'm there, Captain. Like, you gotta give him credit.
He knows his role.
Bro, he's the first reality TV star in WWE.
Hey,
Rick
he's the
says,
best.
he loves the
Hard work
business.
pays off.
Dare I say, he loves the business more than some of the wrestlers that started in the indies. You know what I mean?
I will give him that. He does. He clearly didn't have a need for the bread coming from reality TV. He could have done this shit for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? Because the challenge will accept you always. Once an alum, always an alum. So he didn't necessarily need it. So I will say that he does love the business. I just love fucking with Martin. So if you say that if Martin says Miz rocks, I'm gonna say he sucks. Bottom 45 talent all time.
Let's
Oh my
jump back. Let's jump back to the main topic of conversation. Back to Cena and Randy. Looking like Mark brings something up really, really interesting. So Cena Orton isn't about the match, but the moment. The interesting part of the feud is the different face heel alignments. Cena knows what Orton will do, but Orton doesn't know what this Cena will do. And I feel like that's very important because Orton has never been in the ring with this heelish Cena. So there's a different story. There's a different aspect of storytelling to tell right there. And Rick also says that the crowd will carry this Orton Cena match at Backlash, not the wrestling.
Oh, 100%.
That's fair. 1,000%. I expect the crowd to be a factor in that match.
Well,
Let's
it's
think
in
about
St.
the extra
Louis.
crowd. Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
So that's Randy's. Yeah.
It's
SmackDown was
crazy to pops.
SmackDown was full of call ups. We had Fraxium call up. Just real quick, fellas, do you think Fraxium will help the tag team division get to the next level and be a great tag team division that everyone's hoping for? Let's start with NitRam.
Fraxium is the greatest tag team doing it right now. I stand 10 toes down on it. So I generally think that it's not long before they get the titles and they make it relevant like they did in NXT. I'm real happy for these guys. So I'm all for it.
Chana, how you feeling about Fraxium?
Axiom is my favorite WWE Power Ranger of all time. You know what I mean? But I do rarely ever do I agree with NetRam, but I do agree that Fraxium is the best tag team in WWE right now. So I can only imagine what them and the Street Profits going to do. Them and Motor City Machine Guns, them and DIY, them and the Yes Boys. It's great,
Mike?
man.
I'm all about it, man. I'll agree to all the sentiments. Fraxium has been the best tag team in WWE through 2024, 2025 now. Dare I say the best tag team in all of pro wrestling. That is a hot take. I don't think I've seen tag teams better than Fraxium the last couple months because, man, them pairing these two guys, I don't know who came up with it. It was Shawn Michaels, compliments to the chef down there in NXT. It was a Shawn Michaels decision because you took a guy with Frazier who is literally the Flash. The guy is a blur. Like he hits those ropes, man. He's so fast. He's quicker than the ropes. And then you have Axiom, who is one of the most gifted high flyers and technical wrestlers in the company right now. And you put them together, man, it's like thunder and lightning, baby. They are special to watch, man. Every match is must-see wrestling, even against Hank and Tank at NXT Stand and Deliver. I don't know if you guys watched it yet. That was a hell of a match itself. And Hank and Tank aren't, tag team for more than a cup of coffee. So for Axiom on the main roster, man, I can't wait to see what these two come up with. And Chano, he is literally a Power Ranger in real life. Axiom.
I swear to God, he is. It's like time. I think what is it? The Time Force helmet?
Hell
no, it's
yeah.
Lightning.
No, Lightspeed Rescue.
It is Lightspeed Rescue. There we go. Thank you. Lightspeed Rescue, Silver Ranger helmet.
Guy.
Great series.
No, I agree with you guys. I think they're going to be great for the tag team division. It's going to be awesome to see their matches. Maybe we get a Penta and Rey Fenix versus Rex.
Please.
You know what I mean? That's like a dream tag team match right there.
I don't think they really intend on bringing them together anytime soon. I wish, but they want it to that moment to feel special, not like a.
No. Eventually, it'll eventually happen. I'm not saying right.
The hints are there.
Eventually.
Yeah, they name dropped the Lucha Bros, so
yeah, they're planting the seeds for everyone.
So just get ready.
Get ready. 2 weeks
Lucha
on
Bros.
Monday Night Raw, Netflix. Dirty Dom, the Judgment Day is going to be beating down Penta, or
Rey
American
Mysterio.
Made is going to be beating down Penta, and Penta's going to be like, I've got a mystery tag team partner. I called backup, and then Rey Fenix makes his Raw debut, and the rest is history.
Yeah, or El Grande Americano and Dom beating up Rey Mysterio.
That's also.
And Penta's like, yo, enough is enough. So, yes, there's a lot of ways. Fellas, all week everybody's been talking about it. We're going to talk about it. I want to hear everybody's thoughts. Should have the main event on SmackDown this past Friday been on the WrestleMania card? Let's start with Chano. It was part of the WrestleMania or the out of nowhere of the week question, but how do you truly feel? Do you feel like you could have taken a match off of WrestleMania and insert that tag team match?
Yeah, the other tag team title match. You know what I mean?
War Raiders?
Yeah, that War Raiders match. And to be honest, if you really wanted to, the Randy Orton Joe Hendry match as well.
Hater.
No. I'm just.
God knows that 5 minutes was so credential.
No. Actually, I take that back. The Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. They could have taken over that match.
That's one of my favorites.
It was a good match.
It was solid, but it's based on a storytelling perspective. The SmackDown tag team titles match was being told for way longer than the last minute.
Yeah.
Rey Fenix replacement.
Hear me out. You could have still got this TLC on night 2 because Randy and Joe went 5 minutes. You could have given this 15 minutes and cut out some bullshit, cut out some fluff. Let's be real. You could have squeezed it in. Triple H just wanted to do 7 matches a night because that's the new directive. Big pay-per-views get 7. Weekly PLEs get 5.
We could have cut Cena Cody a little bit.
Could have
cut the last 5 minutes out with Travis Scott's bum ass. Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only one that's gonna sit here and say I think it had to be on SmackDown to be as good as it was. So just hear me out here. I look at it in the grand scheme of the reason why the other tag team was on the Mania card was simply because New Day sells. Whether they're heels or not, it's a known fact. They're top merch sellers, which is real interesting to me. But so you're not going to take them off. Plus, they're the greatest tag team in WWE history when you break it down as far as titles. It's cool.
I kind of hate that because the announce team be flip-flopping between the Usos and the New Day all the goddamn time.
Because it's the argument of longest reigns versus most reigns is their argument between them two. But I also think you put this match on Mania, they don't get as much time. Like we're talking about how much time they're going to get. You cut this, cut that. What made this match great is it had time to breathe on SmackDown. You get awesome things like Montez hitting people with legs. And you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this match pulled from SmackDown. We don't talk about it on the Mania card the way we're talking about it right now.
It could have been, man. If you think about it, how much there's like 17-minute adverts in between matches. You know what I mean? Trying to sell merch again. Fucking after every single match, there's all advert after advert after advert. You just cut down to your advertising time. At least by half, you can add two more quality length matches. You know what I mean? And expand on your match times. There's no reason a Mania match should be shorter than 10 minutes because Mania is supposed to be the cultivation of the year and the beginning of the year at that. So to have less than a 10-minute match at Mania is crazy to me.
Wasn't crazy when it was TNA champion.
The secret to success to a Mania match is honestly just longer than 10 minutes is give it a chance to really cook.
But WrestleMania have this now in this era. It's not about the matches; it's about the moments. We've heard them say that in every documentary. Yeah, it's moments, aka money, but moments. And Joe Hendry appearing. Shout out to the Scottish dude sitting behind me. You know, in the heaven seats because he said his name and he appeared, man. And that was one hell of a moment.
Mm-hmm. One hell of a moment.
And one hell of a merch seller. Yep, one hell of a merch seller.
Shirts restocked like that.
Booking like a Mark says, in regards to the Street Profits, they're 3-1 at WrestleMania, competing at 36, 38, 39, and 40. They won the tag team showcase at 39, but a championship TLC match didn't get on WrestleMania.
That's actually true. I actually watched that shitty ass Bobby Lashley Street Profits versus
It was not a bad match from last year from Mania 40.
It was terrible. The moment they announced that match, I went to go get merch and a margarita. That's literally what happened.
Let's take a small break. We'll be right back.
Dive into a world where every pinfall, every suplex, and every promo is celebrated in fashion. From the legendary 3-count trivia to the iconic bad guy wrestling, we've got the latest gear to elevate your wrestling wardrobe. Show off your passion for the squared circle. It's not just clothing, it's a lifestyle. Come shop with us and unleash your inner champion at foursidesofthering.com. That's foursidesofthering.com.
foursidesofthering.com. You can shop all of our merch. You know what that means when you see the merch ad. Nitram. What's happening on X?
Cross a tweet that I thought was super interesting. And Mike, I'm going to ask you the question because I'm curious. But my boy Ricochet tweeted, the main reason was that WWE ruined my love and passion for the sport that I grew up loving. And AEW helped me find that love again. Now, obviously, he's contracted to AEW and all this. But my question is it worth being in any sport, the top of the promotion, best team you can be on, whatever the situation is, if you don't love doing it anymore?
Yeah.
If it's killing your passion, is it worth actually being there?
No, absolutely not. If that is Ricochet, not speaking from his character and that is, him coming from the heart, then if that is how he felt that WWE ruined his love and passion for professional wrestling, then you can't be in a toxic relationship. Life advice, don't be in that toxic relationship. And if he felt that it was doing this, that an AEW legitimately helped him find his love of wrestling again, then that's the best thing you could ever ask for professional wrestling. At the end of the day, it's not, Team AEW versus Team WWE. To some it is, for some fans, for some podcasters, some people it is. I think for most of us, it's, mainly like, look, it's team professional wrestling. It's team professional wrestlers. Wherever the wrestler is the happiest, then they should be there. And if Ricochet's happy in AEW, then I'm happy for him.
I agree with you. And I think the worst part about it is, I think every wrestler's dream, you know what I mean? And let's go before even AEW was a thing, right? Every wrestler's dream was, I want to go to WWE. Got to make it to WWE, right? And that's one of those things too. Is like you weren't a successful wrestler if you didn't make it to WWE, regardless if you were the biggest name on TNA or the biggest name in New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you weren't on WWE, you were not a successful wrestler. And I think a lot of people, when they get there and they finally get up there, they don't think about the toxicity. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, I finally made it. This is my dream job. This is the sport I've always loved. I busted my ass to get here. Like nothing could ever go wrong. And then it sucks when in Ricochet's case, you get something like this, right? Where he says it ruined his love for wrestling. And I don't even think he really truly means that. And I think that's just him being in kayfabe and working his own gimmick on, especially on social spaces, right? So if it did ruin that and he's just saying AEW helped him find that again, it's awesome for him, right? Because that's what you want. You don't want any wrestler just to give up because they feel like they don't have that passion or love for wrestling anymore. And like Mike said, if you did lose that passion, you leave like he did. He left. Sadly, they like killed him on TV, but
It was a good way to do it, though. Good way to do it. I
was-
like that
it was-
WWE is doing that.
it was a great way to do it. Yeah. And you know, and now he's doing great things. He's doing incredible things. I know people are hating on it, but you can see a different Ricochet, a happy Ricochet, right? So and I think that's something that's incredible. For the other person to say, dude won 0 world titles since he's arrived is kind of crazy, but you know, everywhere you go, you're not going to win a title, but as long as you could put yourself over with the fans, I think that's all that really matters.
100%.
I mean, it's just one of those things. And like I said, it applies more to than just wrestling, you know? You could be the best baseball player in the world, play for the Yankees, but if that kills baseball for you, what's the point in being on the Yankees?
Well, you got to think
Does,
about
man.
it. We got to think about it. WWE fans are toxic as hell in a general aspect. You know what I mean? They're totally divided on everything wrestling. They like, and AEW they allowed him to develop character work and do more, dive into himself more like WWE. He was just this high fly guy. That was his personality. That's just
He's a
that's just
superhero.
who he was. You know what I mean? A superhero, exactly. And now in AEW is a lot of flesh out who he wants, see what he doesn't, see what he likes, see what he doesn't like, see what works, or see what doesn't work. So in that aspect, I can understand to see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? And plus, the more he eggs these people on Twitter, the more they're gonna hate watch his matches, and that's when they're gonna do better for AEW. Honestly,
Another thing is like also, you know, when you're coming up like Ricochet was coming up, where like AEW wasn't a thing, and if you couldn't watch, or not even you couldn't, if you didn't put the effort to keep up with New Japan or TNA and all these other said promotions, Ring of Honor, and not know who these characters are, not characters, but these people are. You know what I mean? When they come to the WWE and they sign those big, contracts, and they come out as a new name like Finn Balor, but someone like Nitram or even maybe Mike, myself included. I'm not sure about Chana. I'm not sure how long he goes back, but like you see Finn Balor, but I see Prince Devitt. You know what I mean? So it's just like and people are like, oh well, that doesn't exist anymore. And I think that's the one thing that sucks too about most WWE stands. It's like, oh, whatever you did outside of WWE doesn't matter. But that's who makes that person. You know what I mean? And Chana brought it up earlier about those guys bringing over those characters, and maybe that's like, that's what you got to do because it's easy. So I don't know. I don't want to say that WWE ruined wrestling for him. I feel like he was just frustrated and he was stuck, and he got out of a situation and made his situation better.
I mean, he's on tape saying if AEW was out before he signed his NXT contract, he would have never joined NXT. Like my man has been, he's entitled to feel the way he feels, but he has been on some anti WWE shit at the moment he inked his AEW contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's rough. It's definitely rough.
Mark says, in order for a plant to grow to its fullest potential, you have to transplant it sometimes. So that's
definitely devil's advocate on that, but you may have to transplant it, but the grass may not always be greener on the other side. The grass might just be greener where you water it.
That's true.
Profound. That is true. They let him grow. That's a good one.
Yeah.
They are letting him grow until he's meant to be.
I got Brennan, the guy's in the building. He says, hi, guys.
Brennan.
Custom guy. There he is, man. Dude, did you see that belt he made for the wrestling club this week, man? Shout out to
TWC. Shouts out to Brennan, the guy doing the belt for TWC. You love to see it. Fellas, this new faction that Paul Heyman's created with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. Is this going to be one of those things where we see Seth Rollins be overshadowed by Braun with Paul?
Eventually, yes. I feel like we already know who Seth is in a reasonable aspect. So to expect anything new from him is, Who knows, man? But I expect Braun to overshadow Seth eventually.
I think it already kind of happened. Like, I look at Braun and Paul together, and I don't even care if Seth's there or not. This is the same to me as Jacob Fatu coming in for Solo, and we knew it was going to happen. That we were all just going to be like, oh, we don't need this toy anymore. You know, we dropped Solo. Braun Breaker, we know, is the future of this business. He's incredible. Him being a Paul Heyman guy is incredible. I don't even think they need Seth anymore. I think if they were to drop this all next week, Braun speared Seth, and Seth sat there with dumbfounded look, we would all still be okay. Because Braun was already, in a sense, overshadowing the leader of the group. He overshadowed the entire storyline that this all led up to. Because he's just that guy.
It's to add to your point, Braun is so much further along Batista and Randy Orton were when they were in Evolution. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's so much further along at this point.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like he's not really developing. He's more like just learning from Paul Heyman and just picking his moment in a sense.
Right. He's definitely going to have a better career than Batista. We know that for sure.
I'll argue the fact that maybe it's by design.
True.
Maybe that's what they want us. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe the whole thing is to make Braun look like that absolute beast. I mean, he is the second coming of he who shall not be named, former UFC heavyweight champion. And if they're going to build him like that.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock, I agree.
Absolutely.
This guy.
Brilliant guy. Yeah, it's funny you say that because there he is. That's what it's for. It's to make Braun a superstar. Braun is already a star.
Great minds think alike, baby.
Great minds do think alike. Do you guys think there's a third member involved? Do you think they need a third member, Mike?
Eventually there will be. Not my fault.
I'm torn on this, man. I mean, they could run this as Paul, Seth, and Breaker, and I think it would be something that would be worthwhile, you know, in the immediate kind of future. I mean, would it be nice to see one or two more people added to this? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Becky Lynch comes to mind. Perfect for this, you know, obviously, but I don't know if they want to put husband and wife on camera together in a faction. They've done it for like a one-off match, you know, but could they do that for a long-term story? Could that work? If there is another guy out there for this faction, I mean, I'd hope it'd be someone that maybe is not getting shine. I'd say like a Cross would be cool, but he doesn't fit this. I don't know. That's tough. Maybe you could make an NXT call up, join this group. I'm sure there's some, you know, there's some names you could go. Mello is another good one, but I think they'll add someone. I think it'll have to happen in the sense of like a match, because I don't think they're going to be on Backlash. So maybe you have a match where, I don't know, Seth goes after Jay and they unveil a new member, you know, something like that. I don't know. It's just I just don't know how they would unveil it.
I think it's going to happen when Roman and Punk team up together. Then it's a chance to go take on Braun and Seth in a tag team match at a PLE. In the moment you think they got Heyman neutralized, the third member is obviously going to show up in a bloodline black hoodie and just reveal themselves to be no other than Santino Marella is a third member of the Heyman guy.
I would love that. Cobra with Paul Heyman.
Hit that shit. Cobra
That's
Paul
lethal.
Heyman would be iconic.
That's
That man in the Hall of Fame.
That's lethal right there. And what do you think? You think they need to add a third member? Or do you think Braun and Paul Heyman is all you need?
I generally don't think they do. And if they were, I'm be on channel saying it has to be someone young. Don't put no old ass dude up on there to take some shine. All right, Seth's what, 38? He only has like 6 more years for trying to give up on him. And if you're gonna call up somebody from NXT, I mean, yeah, you know, there's a lot of young people that could pull up. There's a Trick Williams that's pretty much done with NXT at this point, because what else can he really do? There's, you know, Javon's really young, but I think he's the future NXT. There's an Ethan Page who's 35, but he's another one. You know, I don't want it to be Ricky Saints. Just generally don't. I've seen his name thrown around. There's an Austin Theory who's been trying to separate from Grayson Waller. There's a Grayson Waller. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think would come to mind. But as of right now, a lot of people are like, oh, this faction. They're not even a faction. They're a tag team with a manager. All right. I think that needs to be settled. Those guys can go for the tag titles right now because that's all they are. They're a tag team with a manager.
You got Ricky Bit says face Braun, heel Seth for the title next year's WrestleMania. Brendan the guy brings up a good point to Mike. He says no female because it's going to seem like Death Riders, WWE style, and the fans will kill this.
You know what's crazy is I thought about this the other day when I thought about
he's
Becky.
not,
like,
yeah.
It's gonna seem Death Rider-esque.
Yep. Those AEW guys, as soon as they get a chance, they won't let it go.
Mm-mm.
You know.
He says, "Oh, look how they added Rhea to JD. It was a tag team: Edge, Priest versus Styles, Balor. That makes."
But Rhea's a different cause. Like I'm gonna be honest, Rhea could fuck up a guy. Becky Lynch ain't fucking up half that roster, bro. Rhea can mess up half that roster.
Put up last.
But we've always, and we've always said, Chana's always brought the good point. Rhea Judgment Day is not Rhea the world champion. You know what I mean? She knows how to separate the both really, really well. So different. Speaking of tag teams, we were talking about tag teams earlier. Speaking about tag teams, Liv Morgan and Rox are tag team champions. Raquel Rodriguez. But Liv Morgan's being written off TV because she got a movie role.
They said she's not being written off. They said she'll be back. She said she'll be back in a minute.
It's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, she asked for permission.
Yeah,
she asked for permission off. So 4 weeks off. Do you think the title should have been vacated, or do you even care about the women's tag team titles? Let's start with Chana.
No, they shouldn't be vacated. I mean, Liv has been doing excellent work all year. Who are you gonna have to drop the titles to? You know what I mean? To make them care. It was Bianca and Jade. It was Bianca and Trinity, Naomi. That's when they were interesting. And then when you went to Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, it kind of went to absurdity. So Jade and Bianca won it back, and now you have Liv and Raquel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't drop it to anybody else unless you drop it to Roxanne and Julia.
There's a tag team you could drop it to. Tag team you could drop it to. I think would have got the pop and would have elevated both of them just a little bit more. And that would have been Last Legend Jakar Jackson with the Metal 4.
It should have happened a while ago.
Yes, but now they're gonna build
a long time ago.
Now they're gonna build Jakar as a single star in NXT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you call it.
I mean, the other thing is if we knew that Liv was going to be gone for a little bit, like maybe they should have played hot potato. The women's tag titles were defended 3 times over 72 hours. WrestleMania week, at Mania, Monday Night Raw, and NXT that Tuesday. So why not throw it on Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley for a week or two until Liv and Raquel come back and they're like, we want our titles back, and beat them, and then Gigi can go to the main roster or some BS.
Or you could have tossed it on Piper and Isla walking around with Chelsea and have all
Piper and Alba. Yeah, absolutely.
Or Alba, yeah. I'm sorry,
I miss Isla. They did Isla dirty.
How would you feel? How would you feel? And I know it technically diminishes some tag teams if Raquel just defended it by herself. She's a strong woman.
You could make that argument, yeah.
You could make that argument.
But whoever she beats, that's it. You better they're not a tag team anymore because they're done. They have no tag team legitimacy. If Raquel beats the Party Girls, for example, Gigi's Party Girls, get back to NXT to rehash your characters.
I mean, what else are they doing though, Mike? It's about time they got on TV. Let them get squashed by Raquel.
You're not wrong. I'll give it to you.
Let's see. Liv Morgan's going Hollywood on us. Hopefully she doesn't do the full Dwayne The Rock Johnson, John Cena. She comes back. Does her movie, comes back.
She'll be back.
They said she signed to Paradigm, which is apparently the publishing company that CM Punk is signed to, and allegedly to a point when CM Punk was missing weeks in the Drew McIntyre feud, he was filming his show on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
So WWE is doing a better job collabing with wrestlers' personal projects along with the wrestling aspect of it, which is cool. You know what I mean?
It's not.
Ray says it's not the same Raquel from NXT.
Yeah, she doesn't do the back gimmick no more, but she's still strong.
Speaking of NXT, man, there looks like they're breaking up everybody. Mania reset all the champions. NXT said, "Okay, we're gonna break up all our factions." Metaphor going their own separate ways. That was sad.
No quarter catch crew breaking up.
Mike, what's going on? What's going on with the family, bro? They give you some details. You know what I mean? Have you been keeping in touch?
That the family calls when the family needs. I had to do some looking into Stacks, see what he's been up to here. I trying to do some wellness checks on Luca. Haven't talked to him in a while since last Tuesday when Stacks took him out to the Nevada desert. We're still trying to figure that one out. The Riz is safe. She's in hiding. Thanks to the Don.
Good.
That Stacks, man, he's a real rat bastard.
Yeah,
Mike,
after the
how
Don
would you
gave
feel?
the Don gave this man a purpose, a family, a title, something to do, help, got him tag gold. And that's how you repay the man. That's how you repay him. You kick him in the balls and let a bunch of newbies who trying to take over the company take him out in front of me, holding me back. Security was holding me back. It's in front of the family? How dare you?
How dare
Disgrace.
you? Disrespectful. So
I'm
disrespectful.
invoking his Italian card.
I know China's okay with the factions breaking up. He's not too big on factions. AEW gives him a lot of PTSD when it comes to factions. He starts hearing factions and he's like, oh, trios titles, quadruple champions. He's not a big fan of it. So but
trios titles is absolutely
Is
ridiculous.
it just Chano has a problem with numbers? Is Chano and Solo Sikoa? Chano Sikoa? Chano Sikoa is coming out tonight?
You figured it out. I hate numbers.
That's why you hate old wrestlers over the age of 45 because you can only count to 36. That explains so much. See, it all makes sense now.
Before we started recording, the guy taught me what the number 45 was. You know what I mean? I thought after the age of 36, it disappeared. The family, no, they go up.
1, 2, 3,
yeah, you go from 36 to old as fuck. You need to retire.
You see, my mom's over the age of 45, but I keep asking, how old are you? I need to learn my number. She says, a gentleman never asks a lady her age. And I'm like, Mom, this doesn't help me.
just don't you well. I'm not sure if you caught Sunday this past weekend, but TNA pay-per-view was on. Main event. Joe Hendry retains his world title. I think it's blindsided by Trick Williams to what people are saying a no pop. And I'm really sure. I'm not sure
Let's
if the videos
talk about it.
I'm not sure. Pop. I'm not sure if the videos I was listening that were muted. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if people were just messing with the sounds because people should be popping. I mean, and I know the IWC and NitRam have it out for my guys, so they probably went and muted all the videos that were before they can get released to the public of social media. But
look,
we talked about Trick Williams being possibly a TNA champion. Getting no pop, is that good or bad for a case of him being TNA champion? Chana.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. He just has to deal with his consequences of his actions and pray to God that they forgive him for the Randy Orton transgression.
Okay, Mike, what you thinking about Trick Williams? No pop.
Dude, this is yes.
I'm not gonna hold you guys. I'm gonna need 5 minutes. The Knicks are down 2 with 48 seconds left. I'll be back.
God, Chano's sweating right now. Good luck, Chano. Go Knicks. I wouldn't say it was no pop. I mean, I did see the video. I mean, the crowd definitely reacted. I mean, maybe there's not a big. Maybe the people who are watching TNA aren't watching NXT. I don't know.
And that's a problem.
That is a problem.
That's a problem because the whole point of this whole collaboration is to put more eyes on TNA. Correct?
Yeah.
So if you're bringing in NXT stars to bring more eyes, and these people don't know who your NXT stars are, and arguably your biggest star is Trick Williams, whether he can wrestle or not, we've heard the pops. I've heard it in person. I've heard the whoop that trick chants. When I watched that video, the first thing I did is I texted Marcus. I said, where are the chants? Because I had this theory that NXT is so forth. They still chant them. They were chanting them on NXT.
Oh.
Speak about it, Mike. Speak about it. He's a heel now.
Let's talk about it.
The PC is a whole different fan base. That's a whole different fan base, dude.
But Mike, hear me out. Joe Hendry arguably got the loudest pop in WrestleMania. gets a pop
Fair.
in NXT. Joe Hendry gets the biggest pop in TNA. He is their biggest star. Arguably, I've seen personally Trick Williams get the huge pop he does in NXT. He got a great ovation when he went to SmackDown. It transferred over. But if you take him out of WWE, it seems like it's a forced thing. Because nobody knew this man's chant. Nobody was excited for arguably your biggest star of a different brand. And I've seen these people cheer for people like Jasmine Nix and Sol Ruka. So there's no reason why Trick Williams doesn't get a pop for shockingly coming in the ring. He should have got some type of reaction. He got absolutely nothing. The man can't wrestle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't have to
I'm
that he can't
literally
wrestle in there.
watching it. I'm watching it right now from Trick laying out Joe Hendry, and the crowd was viciously booing him.
Oh, no.
And there are literally people chanting, "Whoop that Trick." I'm listening to it right now. So I think you're beating the piss out of this. I think you're beating the piss out of this.
I think you're watching edited videos. You're probably watching.
I'm not. I am not. I am right from TNA's official.
Don't worry. I
channel.
watched edited videos earlier too, Mike.
I am watching it. There is a whoop that Trick chant. The crowd is booing him viciously. The crowd let out a gasp as soon as they realized it was Trick kicking Hendry in the face. He got a reaction, Nitram. You're not making me say "oh damn" tonight on this show. I am adamant.
Should he be TNA champion?
Who should he be the TNA champion?
Should he be TNA? Somebody has to eventually hold a title on a crossover.
He shouldn't be the first to hold the title in crossover. No, he shouldn't be. He absolutely should not. The person that should probably cross over and beat Joe Hendry is an AJ Styles. And now we've maximized this partnership 100%. Because AJ Styles is a TNA legend, and I think it makes more sense for him to cross over than a Trick Boy. Obviously, it's the NXT TNA partnership. I get it, but Joe Hendry did debut at WrestleMania, so that is in the realm of possibility now.
Mike, I love that argument. Before Chano comes back in, I love that argument. But if you throw a TNA legend in like AEW did for Christian Cage, Chano don't want to hear it. He don't want to hear it about a TNA legend.
He's probably depressed right now. I hope he's happy.
No. There's 20 seconds left. Next ball, tied game. My anxiety's at a 12. I'm just here to let you know. I'm either gonna be back happy or I'm gonna be in tears, snot coming down into my mouth.
Oh boy.
That is your
mouth.
That is
keep
your
mouth
channel
closed.
update.
Don't let the snot in.
With that,
I
with
have
that
to leave it
being-
open.
With that channel update and that being said, let's take a small break.
What's up, my fellow bad guys? Just when you thought we were down bad, Brandy's here to pick us right back up. Thanks to our partnership with SeatGeek, we got good seats and great prices. New users can score a fantastic $20 off their final ticket purchase by using the exclusive promo code 4SIDESOTR at checkout for any event. That's 4SIDESOTR. Tell them the bad guy sent you.
4 Sides OTR. Use the code. New customers only. If you already used the code, just make a new email. It's that simple. You can make as many emails as you want. There's no limit.
You don't know how many mouth and off of Mike emails I have.
I'm not surprised. So just a breaking news, here for us since we're live and TNA is airing right now. Santana is challenging Joe Hendry for the TNA World Championship. Santana wants the TNA World Championship. So there's your news here for tonight.
I'm surprised Chana hasn't
had a great year.
That's Chana's guy. There's Chana's guy. No, yeah, good. Shouts out to Santana. Hopefully he gets that too. He deserves something.
Also, he bought Equa, so I'm for it.
So I'm gonna be real with you. The way it seems like right now, it seems like what Joe Hendry's contract is probably ending very soon, and I think Joe Hendry will be in WWE within the next 6 months or year, whatever the ladder is here.
That or huge shocker, he beats John Moxley for the AEW World Championship.
That would be crazy. But I also want to throw it out. I think Joe Hendry skips NXT. He's already shown his face there, and they pretty much put him on Mania. They know he gets the pop. I think he goes straight to either Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, they found a better, more over. People are not gonna like this one. Better, more over, more creative musically. Elias.
You leave Elias alone. Elias was a drop ball.
I like Walk with Elijah. I think it was a big ball drop with poor Elias, but they found their shiny new version of that, and he is naturally over. Social media was singing his song before people even know who the hell Joe Hendry was. They were, but it was a sound on TikTok for like 6 months.
That's very true.
People were like, "Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy?" And now he's one of the most over wrestlers in the business. So who is Joe Hendry? He's that guy.
Yeah, handsome fella too. Just throwing it out there.
Handsome fella,
man.
100%. Fellas, when you see the Seat Geek, you know what that means. We got to move on to our Move the Needle. Our Move the Needle this week, we're going to start with Mike. My guy, Mike. Does your boy Stacks move the needle?
I think Stacks moves the needle. I think now, if we are talking from a storyline perspective, him turning on the Don and starting this infighting within the family, I think this is a great way for Stacks to get himself over with the crowd. I think it gives him a chance to showcase who he is, and I think it gives him a chance to maybe take over as the new Don of NXT, and the Don of WWE, or the Don of Raw or SmackDown is coming very soon. So I think, for me personally, from what I've seen with Stacks over just the last 2 weeks with this family story, I think Stacks is moving the needle for me.
Niram, how you feeling about Stacks? Does he move the needle for you?
Dude, yeah. I agree with what Mike said. Everything he's done recently is really entertaining. It's really good. And even the turn, like, we all saw it coming, but it was really good. Like, they did a great job with all this. He became a full-blown character of his own. He stands out on his own. And that's props to everything that Tony D'Angelo has done. It's props to everything that Luca's done, the way that they've been doing their vignettes, everything. Stacks is an interesting character on his own. We've had the fun Mafia family. If you give me a serious Mafia family, I'm all for it. And it's great. Like, I hope he comes out with his fiance, because she deserves more TV time as well. And they play that Italian couple, something like Goodfellas. And I'm all for it. I think he's great. In ring, he has great abilities. So I hope he gets more and more.
I agree with both of you, man. You both put that really well. Really, you both said it really well. And the biggest thing is we are finally going to get to see him shine, right? And they've done such a well job at catering to him and really allowing him and Tony to go back and forth with each other, right? Because there was a time where the Don wasn't around in NXT and Stacks was that guy, you know what I mean? As he was looking for him to see what happened. And we got that first, and like, Stacks can do this. We think we found a good. There was a time where everyone was like, "Oh, Tony's definitely getting called up because it looks like Stacks is going to be that suitable replacement now," and it didn't come. And now it looks like we're finally getting there with Tony D getting called up because of the whole turn and everything that had happened. So I'm really excited for Stacks because I think he's really good in ring, and I think his storytelling is really good. His promo work needs a little bit of help, but he's getting better. But his lady's a hell of a promo. She is on the mic, you know what I mean? And I would like to see, like Nate Ram said, turn it up. You know what I mean? Let me see a serious side. You know what I mean? Let me see, and excuse my language, and no offense to her, but let me see a bitch. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what would be really great, especially for all those women on NXT right now who feel like they're the number one dog, or those men that might feel like they're the number one guy, right? So I think it'd be a great fit for both of them to fully go into and invest into being a heel. So yeah, I definitely say Stacks definitely moves the needle.
I think that what the most interesting part about the family story is that we'll be able to bring this full circle. You know what I mean? So I'm a big NXT guy. I think I turned Nit Ram into one. I think Marcus, you were always an NXT guy, but there was a whole story in NXT for a bit there when Tony D was kind of hurt and was kind of like nursing some stuff where he ended up getting arrested and he went to jail, and he was in the same jail as Dom, and we kept continuity alive with the WWE Universe. But there was a whole storyline of like who turned in the Don and who turned him in, and it was Gallus, and but it was always Stacks. Stacks planted the seeds from the beginning, and they were able to kind of retcon it, and he was able to kind of sell it on the idea that it was someone else and it wasn't him. So I'm excited for them to bring this whole story full circle to the times that their opponents have gotten the jump on the Don, and the Don was beat up in the parking lot, or they took the Don out, and Stacks and Luke had to fulfill the match. Like, I can't wait for them to paint us the picture that the entire year or the last year and a half has been Stacks trying to take the Don out, but failing. So he finally decided to man up and do it himself at Stand and Deliver. I can't wait for them to bring this all back into one big circle and story. Because to be honest, a lot of people slept on this family story. A lot of people were sleeping on the Don, but over these last couple months since the Heritage Cup win that he had, people aren't sleeping on him, especially after beating Oba and winning that North American Championship and being the only person to beat Oba so far. You got to give some credit here. This family storyline kind of has been one of the longer told stories and has kind of been a silent backbone for NXT.
And you can also bring it back to one of those moments where it's like, if they meet again in the main roster, you know what I mean? You can have Stacks tell Tony, like, I didn't do that to you. You'd never got called up. You'd have been drowning with us. And we didn't want that for you, so I had to do that. So it's great storytelling. Great storytelling. Let's get back to China.
So I'm not crying. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm glad Marcus kicked me out for a little while because my energy was at a 15. Oh man, God bless Jalen Brunson. After the Detroit Pistons, I hate you and your fan base. But we're going to the next round, boys.
There it is.
Beautiful. Bro, Marcus, when you get a chance and you get to watch that clip, bro, Jalen Brunson abused Asar Thompson. Abused him.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check that out.
But to answer your question, Stacks does not move the needle.
Oh my God. There he is.
Him back out.
There he is. He's back, folks.
I'm back, baby.
Oh man, speaking about moving on to the next round, we're moving on to the finals. Owen Cup. Fellas. Let's start with the men. Will Ospreay, Hangman Adam Page. Who do you think
that's the finals
going on? Finals, yeah. Who do you think is going on? Face Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship, or Samoa Joe, but Jon Moxley for AEW World Championship. Let's start with Aaron.
So it's like Hangman has to be the guy, right? And recently in an interview, Will Ospreay definitely said the person I want to have a match with is Hangman Page because he's the character. So I think even Will Ospreay understands that, like, Hangman has to be the savior of AEW. His character work is incredible, but it's babyface versus babyface. And I don't know how it goes when it comes to this, but I still think Hangman has to be the guy. Because whoever wins this is beating Moxley. And they're both good choices. But I prefer it to be Hangman.
Mike, how you feeling?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I've been pretty lapsed with AEW recently, man. I've just been so freaking busy. I haven't really had time to really sit down. I was actually trying to watch Dynamite from last night today. All afternoon, I was trying to watch it while I was working. And I literally, every time I tried to put it on HBO Max, I got busy. So I didn't even have a chance to watch last night's Dynamite. I want to see, if we're going to do anything, this is tough. I want to see Ospreay versus Mox. I think Ospreay should get the world title for Mox. I think there's no better person that is like all AEW all the time. I love AEW than Will Ospreay. So I think Will Ospreay.
You talking about Martin?
That's different. Wrestler base wise, it's Will Ospreay, right? MJF got the tattoo removed from Wembley, so he doesn't count anymore. He's not the face of AEW. It's Will Ospreay, bruv. I want to see Will Ospreay versus Mox. Honestly, I want to see Samoa Joe beat Mox next week for the title and see Samoa Joe versus Ospreay instead. But neither here nor there. Osprey Mox finals. I think I want to see. Mercedes is gonna beat Hayter. This is not a shock. I'd like to see Jamie win here, but I'm gonna have to end up going to this pay-per-view, man. It's in my neck of the woods.
You're gonna
So I'm
have
gonna
to
end up having to go to Double or Nothing, man. And I mean, we'll see, but tickets are pretty cheap right now, so I'm gonna have to see.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Mike. I don't think Mercedes wins.
Really?
I think we get an interference from Athena, so they can run that back for the Ring of Honor Championship.
I hope so.
I don't think they'll book themselves into a corner where Mercedes or Toni Storm has to lose. So I think Athena somehow gets involved in this, where Mercedes will then go for the Ring of Honor Championship, which she'll probably win, which will be disgusting. But I really like Athena's run.
Jesus Christ.
I love Mercedes, but I really like Athena's run.
John, how are you feeling about these finals matches, man?
I don't know who the women's is, but the men's is hard because I agree
The
with.
women's is Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter would be dope. I want to see Jamie succeed. So let's go Jamie Hayter. I feel like Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm would be fire. But on the men's perspective, Neverham has a point. It has to be an AEW original that dethrones Jon Moxley. It can't be like a New Japan guy who came in when AEW was in year 5. You know what I mean? To me, the only options to beat Jon Moxley in the Death Fight is to complete, I guess, Moxley's quest to toughen up the main roster. It has to be to me, I think Moxley wins at All In anyway. I don't think Moxley's dropping the belt for a minute. I generally don't think he's dropping the belt for a while. And I think the person who's going to beat him is going to be Darby Allin. Darby Allin is the story. I know he's on Mount Everest right now.
Well, I feel like whenever I think you're right. I can see it now. He wins at All In, Titantron, Darby Allin on top of Everest, telling Moxley, "I'll see you next year at All In."
Probably.
Next year at All In, nah, Mox with another full year is bananas. You know what I mean? That's just wicked. I don't know the logistics of Mount Everest, how long it takes to come back down or whatnot. First of all, safe travels.
You fly back down, right? You only climb up.
No, you
gotta come back. You gotta come back down.
What do you? You gotta get. You gotta climb.
Yeah, you gotta get back.
Why would you not just fly up?
If I'm Tony Khan, that's what I'm gonna be like. Yeah, I could just fly you up there, bro.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if TK doesn't put a GPS on him. Just put a GPS on Darby Allin and just helicopter him down when he's done.
Oh, he'd be better wearing one of them airbag backpacks, dog. Oh, fuck, that's hard.
No, but most honestly, best of luck to Darby on his travels up to Everest.
100%.
But I do believe Darby is the guy to win the AEW World Championship. It's the outside of Hangman, it's the only story that makes sense to me. It's because who is going to be Kenny? Kenny would be fire though. I'm not gonna hold you.
He should have. Kenny should be like a 5-time AEW champ right now. If I was booking the fucking shows,
it could be
that's Jon Moxley.
That's Jon Moxley. That's John. Of all, please, I'm gonna get hot like you guys were last week. Of all the wrestlers in that fucking company, Jon Moxley is a 4-time champ. Kenny Omega is a 1-time world champion, right? 1 time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absurd. That is absurd, dude. I mean, injuries have gotten Kenny, but what? Why is Kenny not a 5-6-time champ? Like, there's no absolute reason for this.
They had CM Punk.
It's crazy because they call him the ace. They call him the ace, and it gets me so frustrated because I'm like, Kenny's clearly the GOAT, and he's not.
They
the
said
ace.
we need to figure out our world champion situation. Mox, Band-Aid, Mox. Band-Aid, Mox. Mox is not Band-Aid, bro. It's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole.
Dude, but do you understand? TK does the same thing with Toni Storm. Whenever the women's division looks a little shaky, Toni Storm, I need you with the belt again.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
She's like,
Toni Storm
okay,
is literally his ace bandage. She's like, oh, hold on. Gotta repair. Gotta.
Mark says the Hangman Redemption arc ending with some cowboy shit at All In Texas.
Nah.
What's All In, guys? What's All In?
It's just WrestleMania. But
not.
for-
It's not. It's first of all, it's not all in. You guys are saying it wrong. It's y'all in because we're in Texas. All right.
So, yeah.
All right.
Ah,
There's the Dean. Yeah,
There
yeah.
it is.
You
Go
know,
watch
nah,
the Knicks. Go watch the highlights, Dean. All right.
you know what's mad
But,
funny? There's only
What's
one.
that?
There's only one redemption story for Hangman, and it's not a wrestling match. It's buying Swerve a house.
That's true. He does owe the man some real estate.
And
I-
the medication for the chlamydia he gave him a year ago.
That's super syphilis. I thought it was. Was it chlamydia?
yes.
Something super syphilis.
I'm not gonna lie,
Let's continue.
Chano. If they did vignettes of Hangman just going to that burnt down house and just slowly with a hammer, just slowly rebuilding it for Swerve, like I would watch
Well,
that every week.
While the
I'm not gonna
Home
hold you. That
Depot
would be-
theme song plays in the background.
That would be money. And then like after Hangman and Swerve win the tag team titles at All In, Hangman says, "Wait, I got something for you. It's the key to your brand new house. I rebuilt it." But I swear to God, I would be bawling like a baby at 12:30 at night, fucking hysterical. Like, this is a grown man shit right here, man. You just don't get it. This is what wrestling is about. It's the friends you meet on the journey.
Hangman
Let's
hands
continue.
Swerve the keys to his new house, and Swerve hands Hangman the remote to his new security system, so no one can break
Yes,
into his house in the future.
1,000%.
Facts. Let's continue.
Even trade.
Move on, man. Fellas, Samoa Joe is going for the AEW World Championship and John Moxley in 2 weeks. What's the best? How do we get Samoa Joe to lose without ruining his momentum right now that he's building with the ops?
What do you mean?
Moxley kills him.
Bro, it's gonna be the same Death Riders matched up, but this is a bloodline match with
gonna be a
hooligans,
snuff
you know what I
film.
mean? Instead of Samoans, you got fucking Claudio and the other gangbangers over there. You know what I mean? Marina Shafir is choking out grown men. You think Hook has a shot to beat Marina Shafir? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? He's gonna get hit with every single finisher, and it's be like, oh yeah, I guess he's protected. But this is a Tamil bloodline story, and I hate it.
This
There's
is
no point.
this is
in it.
not. This is just a bunch of degens beating people up for the sake of beating people up. That's what it is.
Willie Ute is a masochist. That man can't tell me otherwise.
I'm gonna go ahead and call this, y'all. Hook's gonna show up with the white tee and betray Joe, because why is he not in this trio's championship run with them?
Wait, and you telling me that Hook joins?
Hook is a Death
Hook
Rider.
joins he's a Death Rider? That's even worse. It's like, how do you make the Death Rider story, which already sucks, even worse? You add Hook. Then you know who you add? Let's make it spicy. Let's add Taz into the Death Rider.
No,
Taz
honestly,
is
fuck
a
it.
Death Rider.
If Hook should have joined any faction, it was fucking Christian's patriarchy, and that would have been great television for Hook to be like, "Fuck you, Dad. Christian's my real dad." Like, that would have been great TV. I would have
The
been
dad I
thoroughly
never
entertained with
had.
that. Exactly. You were too busy in ECW, breaking people's necks, and I had to raise myself on the mean streets of the Bronx. And now
So what's his name? What's his name? Hook Mysterio?
It's very copy paste. I know, I'm not original, clearly, but it would have worked. It would have worked.
Do you think wrestling fans care enough about Taz how wrestling fans care about Rey Mysterio? No,
Probably not.
They're
Probably
calling him a
not.
fucking loser. They'd be like, "You fucking loser, get over it."
I'm just saying, man.
It's very similar, bro. Short
If
dads.
we're gonna fantasy book Hook into any group, it should have been the patriarchy, not the Death Riders. Because Hook's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
Hook's like,
You know what I want TK to do?
putting-
He's cool, bro.
You know what I want TK to do? I want TK to run every single wrestling WWE storyline right now, but with his own wrestlers and his own slightly small little twist on it. Just run identical stories, you know what I mean? And just see what happens. bro, see, just run it on a week delay. And just see what happens. Bro, bar for bar, storyline for storyline. Just go crazy with it and just let's just make it spicy, because it would be the funniest shit ever.
Samoa Joe,
because you'll be
Don
waiting the whole
Callis,
entire
the
time.
wise man.
Yes, 1,000%. You make Don Callis the wise man. You get John Moxley the Ulafala, but it's not red, it's blue.
let's continue to move on. We got Chano Fantasy booking out here. Fellas, Okada versus Omega. Are we excited for this, or has Okada's presentation diminish since he's been part of AEW? Nitram.
Yeah, so I would never talk bad about Okada. I like what he does, but I do think that he's a comedy gimmick, and I'm okay with that. But for this, when I saw them in the ring on Wednesday, and that was the whole story for this whole 8-man tag, which we didn't need that many people to tell this story, it sparked something in me that was like, oh, this is what got me into New Japan. It was these two guys. But I just can't see the bitch Okada character giving me this passion that they gave me back in their Japan runs. And this is an iconic feud. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are, when you talk greatest feuds, people talk about Kenny and Okada. It's generally an iconic moment for AEW to run it for the first time, and it doesn't feel like it. And I think they're dropping the ball on that. And I blame whatever they're doing with Okada. They should have made him more serious at this point. You know, he looked good in the Continental Classic. I was real excited. I was like, oh man, Okada looking like Okada again, and then went right back to it. This whole little one-word catchphrase character that he's doing with the Elite. And it saddens me.
I'm not mad really much at Okada. I will say, after hearing I've seen clips of Okada versus Kenny, right? I've never seen it live because I got into third-party wrestling a little way too late, right?
Not third party, bro.
I didn't think anybody was gonna say nothing. Good for you. So, but like, I never got to see like additional wrestling from that, but I've seen the clips. So I was excited on paper for this match, but ever since Okada's been on AEW, Okada's been missing something. He doesn't have that edge. In your opinion, do you think that it's because he's a foreigner and it's hard for non-English speakers to really succeed on English promotions without a manager? Because Okada doesn't have a manager to translate his thoughts or anything. And Okada can hold a basic conversation in English, like he's solid, you know what I mean? But to cut like a real nitty-gritty promo to get into the hearts of like AEW fans to really sell this match for the umpteenth time, do you blame that on Okada's overness in AEW? Because right now he's just a bitch guy for 1,000%.
Mike?
Well, they're 10 years older. That's all I can say on the subject here. They're 10 years older than their scuffles in New Japan. You know, I mean, we're talking maybe even longer than that. You know, since they made magic in Japan at the Tokyo Dome, and Dave Meltzer's, you know, had to go to Costco and buy the bundle of lotions for the matches. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're 10 years, 12 years, 13 years older. Kenny Omega just had, 10 feet of intestines cut out of him, and he's back at work balling like he never missed a beat. And Okada's too worried about saying bitch to everybody. I don't know why they went comedy with Okada. Maybe Okada was like, you know what? I had to be mad serious in New Japan. I want to let the hair down. I want to have some fun. He could have had fun in New Japan, I feel like it, but he came here and now he just says bitch every week. Is he still a part of the Elite? Is he in the Young Bucks? Like, is that still going on? Because I feel very out of the loop with this stuff. But when's this match even happening? Next week?
I believe that they're planning to collide the titles at All In, is what the rumors are.
Are they combining, or they're combining, or just a double title match?
The word from Meltzer and all the dirt sheets is that this will be a combining of both titles. So the Continental Classic.
Meltzer don't know shit for sure. So got it.
I do give Meltzer credit on AEW shit because I feel like TK loves him. And I feel like he slides him an extra $50K for those additional 5-star matches.
I mean, I'll be real. If unifying those two titles makes all the sense in the world, because what has Okada done with the Continental Championship? Nothing.
He's had it for a minute.
He won the C2
almost. Yeah.
He's held it for a minute. Yeah, well, we'll see. Eddie Kingston. I miss my guy.
He's back.
Yeah, he's working out. He's working out. He's trying to get back into the ring, man. He's getting there.
I don't need him to wrestle. I need him to cut promos. You know what I have? I have an idea. I have a perfect idea. Hear me out, guys. Let me cut. Have Eddie Kingston as Okada's manager.
And you're not going to talk to this guy however you want. Look at me when I talk to you.
fucking
Like,
love it. Could you imagine him? We put Okada in the next jersey and some Timbs.
he would do it. That's the best part about it. Is Okada would do it.
Piss myself
Fucking
laughing.
print the bags. You'd have New Yorkers all over the world fucking buying fucking AEW
Okada.
Timbs and fucking
We'll see.
AEW New York Knicks jerseys.
We'll see
You
as,
could buy the
as
Dynamite
time.
Diamond ring.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see as time goes by and how they build the Okada Omega storyline and where we go from here. And hopefully, if Niram's right and the Meltzer dirt sheets are right and it's combining of both titles and we get Okada versus Omega and it's hopefully a 5-star match. Looking like Mark says, I feel Okada's language barrier can be overcome with some solid video packages showing who he really is to the AEW audience. Sometimes in television, it's about showing more than telling. And you know what? I
Mark,
think
you want to get your piece in first because mine is a little lengthy.
I was going to say, I think right now, Okada's story is he's coming from this big company, this big commercial where he made all the money in the world. He's coming to America for the first time. And he's doing what Americans know how to do best, and that's party and have fun and not care about whatever's going on in the world. Until that time comes, and maybe the Bucks are going to be like, yo, bro, we can't pay you because you're not wrestling. Like, you gotta wrestle, So, and maybe his demeanor will switch.
My thing is, for the most part, AEW's fan base is consistent to who they are, right? Like AEW's fan base is people who's been watching New Japan, CMLL, AAA, GCW, Rev Pro, ECPW. You know what I mean? For years on end, that they already know who these guys are, and you guys already have a long relationship with Kenny Omega. Not Kenny Omega and Okada and all those other New Japan guys. So at this point, you already know who Okada is, and most of the fan base does too, because they're well aware who when you have a guy like Okada, it's hard not to know who he is or be interested in who he is. So it's hard. Video presentation would be cool, but an aspect is they can give him a chance to develop his character, kind of how they do in Ricochet, right? Ricochet has all the leash in the world right now to figure out what works and what doesn't work for him. Okada doing the bitch gets a nice cheap pop. It's great. It was funny at first. It was cute. It was like, oh, look at this cuddly guy Okada. But at the same time, you're not getting the matches to boot. Like, you know what I mean? The matches and the gimmick aren't meshing well.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it builds. Let's move into our main event question of the evening.
It looks like all the talking has been done. It's time for the main event.
Fellas, main event question tonight is it homage or imitation when wrestlers jump companies with similar characters? Let's start with our guest. Nothing off with Mike.
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, is it homage or imitation? Wrestlers jump companies with similar characters. Is it just the character? Is it just the character going from one place to another place? I think a good example is Aleister Black from earlier. Aleister Black, when he left WWE, came to AEW with a messed up eye, wearing a different colored contact. What happened before Aleister Black went to AEW? Well, Seth Rollins stomped his face into a step and took his eye. That's a fever dream of a storyline we'd like to forget, I bet. Aleister Black went to AEW, wrestled there for 5 years, wore that contact, came on back to WWE, and still wears that very contact. So is it just the character going from one company to another company, back to another company? I would say it's not homage or imitation. I think it's just character moving to a different place to show their character.
Sean, how are you feeling about it? You think it's homage or imitation? Mike thinks right now it's just the character going from one place to another, kind of like when you find a new job.
Honestly, that's not probably the best way to think about it, because if you try to think too hard on it, you're just gonna get yourself frustrated, right? I actually had a conversation in the group chat the other day specifically about Aleister Black, Malachi Black, Mr. Black, or Mr. Vega, whatever you want to name him. And I was like, it seemed like Mr. Black got everything he wanted in AEW. He said he's not an every week wrestler kind of guy in the first place. He's okay with his gimmick and who he is. And he had a nice faction, Brody King, one of my personal favorites, Buddy Matthews. Julia Hart, a wonderful faction, Dogs, all of them, to come back home to WWE. So, like, what was the issue? What made him want to come back in the first place? You know what I mean? I don't think Tony's a bad guy. I think Tony's, from what all the wrestlers say, TK is extremely lenient when it comes to storylines, and you're in control of your own character and what you want to do. So why would he want to come back just to do the same thing? But apparently he just wanted to come be closer and travel with his wife, which is honorable. So if he was happy with that gimmick, WWE, honestly, if they could say all they want, they don't watch AEW or other wrestling promotions, but that's a goddamn lie. They saw it was working. They asked, like, what he wanted to do, come back. He said, oh, the same thing. They said, cool. Picasso, let me get 17 of that. And then that's what it was. So I don't think it's just imitation or homage. It's just characters travel. It's like a Roman Reigns went to AEW. You'd think TK wouldn't be like, yeah, you're no longer the tribal chief. You know what I mean? That just wouldn't happen. Like, now you're just Joe.
The patent for the tribal chief is now available for purchase.
That is actually pretty funny.
So is Edge. But
they should have been petty. They should have kept Edge.
But I think in a sense, though, it's still paying homage to the characters. You know, we talked about the Aleister Black debut, for example, and how it was so similar to the AEW debut of Malachi Black. And then on top of that, you look at Miro, who is now Rusev again, who is doing it's the Redeemer gimmick. I don't care what anyone says. But he talks about it. I was in the abyss. And you're at least acknowledging that somewhere else this had to be created. Because I don't think it's an imitation. Like Mike said, it's characters bringing that exact character. This works for me to your next place. Compared to somebody like Brian Pillman Jr., who had to completely do something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Compared to Ricky Saints, who all he had to do was change his name, but character is still the same. You know, Ethan Page is another one.
Still the same.
And it's not just WWE, because people love to say, oh, they're just talking WWE. Look at the Hurt Syndicate. You know, it's paying homage to the Hurt Business. And I don't think it's an imitation.
Is it homage if it's the same people in a faction? I think homage is, let's say, instead of the same wrestlers doing it, it was 3 new younger guys, right? So they're talking about, for example, of homage. They said Seth Rollins, Bron. They said, yeah, LWO was a homage to the original LWO
right.
group. But Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, is allegedly a homage to Evolution. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a homage if it's the same people involved in it.
Well,
it's just a transfer of characters.
The argument here would be that MJF is paying homage to Owen Hart. Regardless how they want to look at it, that is exactly what they're saying.
Right? No. Listen, it's homage if it's another wrestler paying homage to another gimmick. You know what I mean? Or to something and portraying a storyline. But it's not homage if it's the same wrestlers involved. You know what I mean? The Hurt Locker, the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. It's no, they hurt. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about the story they're doing right now.
But there's a fine line between homage and imitation at the end of the day, right? Because MJF, I'll agree to that sentiment. MJF is doing an homage to Owen Hart and the Nation of Domination story, which is entertaining, even in the year 2025, I guess. I don't know. An imitation would be, let's just say, if next week on AEW, a new luchador debuts by the name of like El Pequeño Americano or something. That's imitation, So
that's
what I would
had a luchador called Transparent. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Or they busted out the Beast, not Mordos or something in WWE, right?
Instead of Ray Phoenix, it's King Eagle.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You know, so like, I think there's a fine line. I think to the sentiment is, I think MJF, let's kind of look at it on the backside of things. Like, if MJF ever left AEW to go to WWE, what you're going to get from MJF is going to be the same in WWE as what you got from AEW, with cursing and all. I don't think you change that one bit. You maybe have to tone it down, but I think it's not going to necessarily be an imitation or an homage to his old self. It's just going to be, I'm MJF. This is who I am. Same kind of deal.
And I think, to add to your point, I think WWE and AEW do a good job to see what's working for certain people and can let them continue to be that person and be that character if they're comfortable doing it. Obviously, Ricochet got a same name, right? He didn't change his name, but he has a new gimmick. He has a new personality based on him not wanting to continue that superhero-ish kind of role that he had in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's working and if it's selling business, it's selling money, why would you change it? You know what I mean? It's like, I know I said Roman Reigns a tribal chief, you just changed him to Joe, but who's another wrestler with like The Undertaker? Imagine if Undertaker would have left WWE at the peak of his powers to go to TNA, and instead of the dead man, he's the flowerist. You know what I mean? He's a Herbalife specialist. You know what I mean? It's just like, you wouldn't change something that's working. It's like Goldberg.
Oh man,
it's like for example, like Goldberg. Like when WWE bought WCW, right? They didn't change the gimmicks of the guys they had coming in because they knew it worked. They tried the NWO in the WWE setting, but they already wasted it way too long. So they brought back red and yellow Hogan for that aspect. But they let them initially keep the NWO gimmick because that was working and that's what was making money.
Sure.
Interesting.
Well, let us know if you think it's homage or imitation with wrestlers coming from either company, just jumping ship and just trying to do something new for themselves. With all that being said, man, Mike, thank you so much for hopping on with us, talking some wrestling tonight. We truly appreciate it. We love having you on, coming to talk this professional wrestling world. With that being said, man, let all of our ringsiders know where they can find you.
I mean, you guys can find me at MOWM_podcast. Just search Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. And off the wall here, because I wanted to ask you guys 5 wrestlers that you think could beat a gorilla.
Together or individually?
Together. 5 wrestlers, any company, all time.
In their prime?
Who could beat a gorilla?
Okay. Brock Lesnar, The Big Show, Great Khali, Andre the Giant, and John Cena, because you can't see him.
I like that.
Nah, you was right with the first one. Number one on the list is definitely, you need a killer like Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar. Give me give me a prime Bobby Lashley. Give me Braun Breaker. I say Braun. That man is an Energizer Bunny on crack. Give me Dom Mysterio for morale. I'm trying to think of a freak of force of nature. Give me Powerhouse Hobbs.
I like that.
That's my 5.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, give me Braun, and Brawny, as in Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. Of course, I got. I gotta have Brock in it. I think Brock just evens out the playing field, to be honest. And then, you know what? People can hate all they want, bro. Throw Samoa Joe in there. Samoa Joe gonna choke a gorilla out. I don't care.
I like that. That's
you know what?
One,
give me one Brock Lesnar versus 5 gorillas. The man is a monster.
That's all I got.
All right, listen, you can find me nowhere at never. But if you need to find me on Twitter, I guess you can find me at Chanko, CHANCKO_. I am the dean of admission that hates you. If you hate anything about wrestling, just DM me. We'll get you an application, and we'll see what classes you qualify for. Unfortunately, our financial aid was canceled, so if you want to attend, we accept Bitcoin.
And considering the Knicks just won, I owe Brandy $400, so we're in more debt than we think.
I'm so glad you lost.
Damn.
Of course, I'm the one that makes them say, "Oh, damn, I'm NitRam." And you can catch me on Twitter at NITRAM_4 SOTR. That's NITRM_4 SOTR.
I'm Marcus Hernandez. You can follow me at the Founder MH, but most importantly, follow us on all of our social media platforms. 4 Sides of the Ring Podcast on IG, 4 Sides OTR on X. Follow Mouthing Off with Mike Podcast. Follow Boom Broadcasting. Those guys are killing everything. Also, look out for Saturday because we're dropping this episode right here Saturday. So stay tuned. Talk to Fuego del Sol. We got the in and out, everything that happened at GCW. Let everything spill. So Saturday noon, watch the socials. We dropped that interview. Other than that, everybody enjoy Friday Night SmackDown. Enjoy your weekend. And always remember, you're not enjoying wrestling, just not watching it right. Catch you guys next week.